but a weak man, a man who sees himself as the victim, a man who has this victim mentality. What good is he? Honestly, you must understand this. As a man, your value comes from your strength. And in the modern day, again, another thing that's gonna get me cancelled maybe, like in the modern day, bro, there's so many like groups of people who love to act like they're oppressed. People of my race, and this might get me hated, but bro, you're not oppressed anymore. I don't know how much I can talk because obviously like this is at risk of getting cancelled, but essentially, you know, the minority kind of people, not just like skin color, but just, you know, the people who act like they're oppressed, the people who act like everything's against them. Like, you know, like, oh, everyone's like racist, everyone's sexist, everyone's this, everyone's this, everyone's this. Not really. No one really gives a shit about you. And I don't even say that as an insult. No one really thinks about you. Everyone's thinking about themselves. If you think you're oppressed by someone, bro, you're not. This is why I've got respect for men like Kanye. He's actually saying to black people to rise up and ditch this victim mentality. And this isn't me saying it, like, you know, I'm not part of this race, okay, fine. But it's nice seeing a man who's just like, yeah, take ownership, like your life's better than you actually realize. And like, this is his words, I'm not gonna fucking say it because, oh yeah, I'm just being racist. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. We live in physically the best time possible. The only thing that's actually negative right now is just our own mental health. And guess why your mental health is shit? It's because of your own thoughts and beliefs about what's happening to you. You know, there's studies to prove that what you believe deeply changes what actually happens to you. If there's two men who are deeply stressed right now, hugely stressed, but one of them likes the stress, like he has this belief, like, yeah, like stress is good. Like, it really helps me. Like, you know, I really do good work when I'm stressed. And the other one's like, oh, I'm stressed. Stress leads to early death, and stress leads to bad health. You do realize the effect of stress will actually change depending on what these men believe about that. The effect of any kind of oppression or problem that you're going through is only based on your own beliefs about the thing. Like, no one will believe this. You choose if you want to experience suffering. Most men are too emotional to have this like victim mindset where they think that this is like toxic or some shit. You choose how you feel about anything. As a man, that's one of our greatest treasures. It's our greatest strength. We can choose to feel angry. If you're constantly overstimulating yourself, you don't have this superpower. But when you spend a week away from technology, you can choose what you want to feel. I can literally turn on my anger right now and I can turn it off. I can choose what I want to feel. So why choose to be a victim? Why choose to like pretend like your power's been stripped away from you? It's our greatest superpower. It's just choosing your own feelings. You need to, like, there's some prerequisites to this. You have to meditate for a couple of weeks. Okay, fine. It's like 1 hour of time over a couple of weeks. You have to take a step back from anything that's fucking up your attention span, like TikTok and stuff. Okay, fine. But after that, like, our superpower is literally being able to not be a victim. A man with a core, like, masculine energy could be imprisoned and, like, shut away in solitude and still be having, like, an okay time because he didn't see himself as the victim. And there's stories of this. There's this one man, I don't know his name. He was a black boxer in the 1900s, in prison for something that he didn't do. He went into the prison cell, whatever, like, get arrested essentially, like, with a fucking $5,000 watch and everything. And literally said to them, like, you can put me in prison, but you can't change what's in my mind. And he became the most successful of his life while still in prison. He chose not to be a victim about it. And nowadays, everyone's oppressed, everyone's triggered. The fourth dangerous habit that will mentally destroy you, literally, is negative thinking. And this is something that so many young men struggle from because your mind can sometimes be your worst enemy, especially when you aren't living the kind of life that you know that you should. You can have such deep, dark, negative thoughts, and this can even go into like this weird, complex level where if you've started to research more about meditation and everything, and also, you know, you've learned about positive thinking, negative thinking, you start to have negative thoughts about your negative thoughts, and it creates like this very shit cycle where you're just constantly just like being a bully in your own mind. And so this is a habit because it happens like just throughout the day, and often it happens when, you know, you think about your lack of success, your lack of, you know, attraction from girls or something like that. You think about something negative and your mind just starts berating you. And so many guys who experience this don't actually realize that you can control your thoughts a lot easier than it seems. Fighting your thoughts is a horrible idea. Honestly, I'm going to tell you some mine, right? I've had the thoughts like, oh, maybe I should just kill myself. I've had that thought before. Not recently, but like a while ago, a couple of years ago. I used to have that thought quite often, and I did the wrong thing, and I would fight that thought, and I'd be like, what? Why did I just say that? That's so fucking, oh, no, I don't want to. I'd start fighting it, and it just created chaos in my own mind that I just wanted to fucking shut it off. And that's why I numbed myself with weed, porn, video games, and junk food, and, you know, I just wanted to overindulge and shit to not think about that. What I should have done at the time was more so just observe the thoughts and realize that my thoughts wasn't me. That me thinking this weird thought of like considering suicide, it wasn't me talking, and just see it more as like a cloud that's passing through the sky. You know, the thought's gonna appear and go away just like a cloud is. And when you meditate, you start to understand that like thoughts are not a reflection of who you are. They're simply like some just random shit that just like happens in your mind. And the skill of meditation is observing the thought and realizing that the thought is an entity by itself. It's not you. You're the person who watches the clouds. You're the person who hears the thought. You're not the thought. You're the person who hears the thought. And so next time when you get like this kind of negative thoughts barrage, you know, like this bully thoughts in your mind which just make you feel shit about yourself. Don't fight them. Don't argue against those thoughts. Don't try to convince them that they're untrue. Observe them like a cloud appearing and going away. And just think to yourself that, yep, in this period of your life, a lot of clouds are going to be shaped like this. And that's okay because it happens. But if you keep staying on your self-improvement and eventually you build up so many things that you're proud of, you're going to realize that all of the clouds that start to appear naturally in your own brain start to become so much more positive. When you've built so much more like muscle and you've lost fat and you actually look physically good, like, you know, you look like you're an athlete, you look in shape, you've been going to the gym, you can't help but like just get like an awesome, like almost a cringe positive thought in your mind, like, yeah, like I'm a beast, you know, it's kind of cringe, but like it's a lot nicer to hear than, yeah, you should kill yourself. And then you work really, really hard, you study really hard, and you get like an awesome grade that your parents are proud of and you're proud of too. But in your mind you're saying like, yes, amazing, yes, yeah, I'm so fucking sick, yes. You can control your thoughts with your actions. And too many guys just feel like the negative thoughts and they just kind of don't do anything about it, and then the negative thoughts just keep coming. Your thoughts honestly are often a little bit of a reflection of where you are in life. If you're doing really shit right now, chances are your thoughts are going to be negative. If you're doing awesome right now, chances are your thoughts are going to be positive. And as long as you know how to control them and observe them, then it won't hurt you the same way that it does for everyone else. And the fifth bad habit that will really mess you up mentally is indecisiveness. Indecisiveness is when you've got a decision to make, like, should you move? Should you break up with this girl? Should you do this? Should you do that? And you often just keep playing around the options in your mind without ever actually coming to a good decision and taking action, which means that your mind gets stuck in this weird loop, like this negative cycle, which is so mentally demanding. Like, you probably know there's a phrase called decision fatigue, and that's when, you know, you've got to make decisions and your mind just gets like kind of weakened by doing that. But when you're indecisive, you're getting decision fatigue like around the clock, and it's literally fatiguing. So I've had this before previously. I remember there was a girl that I was dating that I was indecisive about wanting to break up with her. Like, I wanted to, but I didn't want to go through the breakup feeling and everything. And I carried that relationship on for years. Imagine years of indecisiveness, years of decision fatigue, where almost every single day in your mind you're thinking, should I break up with her or not? Worst period of my life. Indecisiveness it's like a weird habit, isn't it? Because, you know, you were probably expecting me to just say like, oh, video games and, you know, like normal worldly things. But this is the one that I think is quite unique, and it's something that I've experienced myself. I'm not very good at making decisions generally. Like, you know, I want to be better with that. And so often, like, it's really nice that I've got a friend who helps me with this. But indecisiveness will kill your momentum, mess you up mentally, give you decision fatigue and everything. It's not a good thing, man. So how do you solve it? Well, the best strategy to make a decision is to write it all down. And it's so much better. I know this is going to seem weirdly practical, but I promise you it's so much better to write it on paper with a pen than it is to write it on a PC. Just writing it on a paper and writing all of the decisions and the facts and everything that's related to the decision just makes it so much clearer. And suddenly it's like you've made the problem so specific that now you can actually choose the best decision to go for. Usually when it's all in your mind, your brain and your thoughts is all muddled up that you can't even make a good decision. You settle on one, but then you bounce back because your brain changes, and, you know, your feelings dictate your decision making, which isn't a good thing. We don't want to be like that at all. When you write it all onto paper and you write down the cold, hard, logical, analytical facts of the situation, suddenly it's like you have so much more ammunition to help you make this decision. Scroll down to the description right now and go click on that link for the 3 bedroom mistakes that you're making. Click and watch this video right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.